Welcome to my weekly news update. What's going on the other side of the Atlantic in the old continent? And this is just a selection of some headlines because there is just so much going on. It's hard to cover it all. So I'm just covering some headlines that seemed important to me. And I'm going to change the format as well. I'm going to share my screen here and share some articles with some pictures for you to see a bit better on the main headlines. But let's start here. If you recall, so we're going back to my last news updates. We had some drones invading initially. We had like 17 of them over Poland. Then we had some jet incursion last week over Latvia or Estonia, somewhere in the Baltic. And today, so a few days ago, actually published 8 hours ago, so it was probably on Thursday here, you got some drones that were seen over the Danish military bases in the latest air disruption. So Denmark, if you see it, it's a bit north of Germany over there on the North Sea. It's not such a big country here. I'm just wondering why Denmark. There's probably something behind on why maybe they are having some importance on some EU institution at this point. I don't know, but these drones were seen near some military facilities, the large ones, and you have some possible sightings also reported in Germany, Norway, and Lithuania. So it starts to add up. Nowhere here does it say where these drones are from, who owns these drones. It's all supposition, but no fact as such. Right now, we just know that there are some unidentified drones in the sky over some European and here Danish Air Force military bases. So caution, see, they had no evidence to suggest Moscow was behind it. So it's all supposition at this point. Yeah, near multiple military installations overnight. It did cause them to close some airports. So Danish airports, yes. So then they closed the main one. So then Copenhagen airport was closed on Wednesday night, while 3 smaller airports reported drone activity but were able to continue operations. All right. We had airport disruptions anywhere in Europe with an hack in other cities. So it's been quite a few disruptions here. But this one, it's just the tone is increasing, between Russia and European nation at this point. So much that if you look at Moscow here, so this is the Russian Foreign Ministry, Sergei Lavrov. I don't want to butcher his name, but he told the UN General Assembly on Saturday that any aggression against his country would be met with a decisive response. So they're denying it is their drones. Like they denied it over Poland. They're just denying the facts here. The facts. We don't know. We don't have proof as such, but they're claiming it's not them. So his address came as NATO has been considering whether to shoot down Russian aircraft after a series of incursions over several NATO member states. So it's been 3 weeks, huh? As I mentioned in my previous video, it could be, initially it could be seen as a mistake. Then it could be seen as a test. Now it's definitely provocation. If it's the same nation behind these drones, jets, incursion onto European skies here. So definitely the tone is rising here between Moscow and Europe and NATO, obviously. So not improving. And at the very same time, so that one is out, it's from The Guardians. So British newspaper, interview of Zelensky, Ukraine's president, saying that Putin, in his opinion, is preparing to attack another European country. Is it true? Is it not? He's definitely not neutral here in the in the current conflict. But that's his opinion, that Putin would expand his war in Ukraine by attacking another European country. So in such case, Denmark is a bit far away it would have to cross several borders before reaching Denmark, but Poland is much closer, and the Baltic countries as well. So much easier target here. Yeah, here too, see, they say more drones were spotted on a Danish military base and over a Norwegian base. So Norway as well, which is much further away in that case. Also, if he goes by the north, he could get in by the North Pole over there. So yeah, an escalation here in Europe. So still staying here on the British news and changing topic, aside from the war, we have this week, I heard of the digital IDs in the UK. So what's the plan? Would they be mandatory? So that's an article from the BBC. And apparently the government has announced the plan to introduce digital IDs across the UK, according to the Prime Minister. And the main argument is to ensure the country's borders are more secure. So here it's to prevent illegal immigration and illegals to work. Pretty much you're going to have to carry your ID for anyone wanting to work. So I'm not too sure how it's going to be put in place. Apparently, from what I've read, it will have to go through your phone. But what happens if you don't have a phone? I don't know here. More to come. And they still have time to figure it out. So they're saying they want the law to be in place no later than August 2029. So we're still a couple of years away, but still, it's a hot discussion. And apparently in the UK, mandatory IDs date back from the World War. So British citizens have to have this ID on them during World War I and World War II. And in between, I'm not that sure. So might be something cultural as well. The image, of having to carry these IDs in addition to having a database with all the data on all the citizens. Is it actually going to be to fight illegal immigration? I'm not sure. Because at the end, if you want to work illegally, at least the way it is in Texas, you go, you just get paid in cash and you work. It's feasible. It's always feasible if you do it on a cash basis. So it would mean in such case, not just digital ID, it would mean also digital payment and no more cash in order to actually prevent illegals from working. It's a very complex topic here. Not too sure how this is going to be put in place, but it's a start. If they're discussing it in the UK, it's just one step for the other country here. I understand apparently right now it's based, oh my cat, stop it, Ricky. It's based on, to work on the national insurance number, which can be hacked apparently. So it's kind of like the US Social Security number. We will see where that goes, but it's a hot topic. Some pros, some cons, opinion pretty divided from what I can read on the internet. But this is not first-hand information. I don't have family in the UK. I'm just reading the news here, trying to understand what's happening over there. But now let's switch to a country I know much better, and I get insider information, which is France. And here we're going to talk about a former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy. So let me share with you a picture. This is Nicolas Sarkozy. If that brings back some memory, he was president of France between 2007 and 2012, so a while back, and he's currently 70 years old. He was pretty famous also for having married Carla Bruni, who's a French, actually Italian. I think she probably has a double nationality, but originally Italian, top model and singer. And he married her during his presidency in 2008. So he was just sentenced this week. as you can see here, to 5 years in prison for criminal conspiracy in a Libya case. So this dates back to 2007. So it's almost 20 years old. And that was the financing of his campaign to become president. Apparently, some illegal money, deals with Libya. And that's why he's been sentenced. And this raised a lot of talks and articles and reactions in France. First, because it's been 20 years. Right now, he's 70 years old. You tell me you had criminals 20, 25 years later who committed genocide and still, yes. But here it's money. It's a political money thing, no death in that particular case. And what's really surprising in the opinion is the way the judgment is being done, meaning he's been sentenced to prison pretty much right away. They gave him a few days, a month, to not be pretty much escorted from the court directly to jail, given he's a former president. They gave him a bit of time to make arrangement, but he will have to do jail time, which is very exceptional for a president. So it's a lot of people right now are really wondering whether the justice is really neutral here or really left-wing kind of justice going after the right, because Nicolas Sarkozy is a right-wing president. And remember that we had Marine Le Pen that was sentenced as well. So that's extreme right. She hasn't been sentenced to jail yet. She's appealing, but she's been sentenced not to run for president pretty much for the next election, which is a direct interference with the political life here. So a lot of talk right now on this particular one. So in a major surprise, the court ruled that the 70-year-old will be incarcerated despite his intention to appeal. It said his imprisonment would start at a date yet to be fixed, sparing the former head of state the humiliation of being led out of the packed courtroom by police bound for a cell. Yes. So they're just giving him a month pretty much, but he's got to go to jail. So at this point, they're discussing which jail. So apparently they would send him potentially to the Prison de la Santé, not too far away from where he lives, so that Carla can go and visit him. He would be given, also what's being said, the same treatment as other people, the same kind of jail, no particular arrangement to have a more comfortable bed or something like that. It would be the same as any other prisoner. The only thing is, being a former president, he's entitled to his security details. So he has to be in a very secure location. Anyway, they're not going to mix it up with other detainees. I'm pretty sure here he would not get out alive. So, and he's also entitled to have a secretary for his affairs. I'm not too sure how this is all going to work out, because he's got a life, a political life still, and so on, and he's entitled to it. So he has to have his personal assistant pretty much. Very interesting case. He's sure his lawyers are working at full here to try to prevent him from having to go to jail. The usual for these kind of cases is you end up with something, like the bracelet, and you're sentenced to stay at home and not go anywhere. But that's not his case. They sentenced him to actually going to jail. So pretty tough here. Please let me know what you all think. A lot of news. This is just covering, as I mentioned, the major headlines, but there's a lot more. And usually not very positive, unfortunately. So I hope you enjoyed and found this interesting. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share with the world. Thank you all for watching.